Tommy Best, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle, and I'm catching up with the gentleman in the alien from the alien ant farm. What's going on, guys?
Hello.
Hey,
How you doing?
What's up? How are you? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. Usually when I have people on for the first time, I like to ask, get a quick background. So do you remember originally what you guys wanted to be when you grew up? And I guess we could start with Tim, and then
I wanted to be a baseball player, man. So I switched to bass.
Nice. And how about you, Terry?
Oh man, I feel like I always knew I wanted to like be in a band, but I did have like a young kind of junior golf league experience. So for a second there, I was thinking about golf.
Gotcha. And how about you, Mike?
I was like really into football. So there was a time where I thought football would be the thing. And then I really wasn't growing into the football category.
I see like a pattern.
Yeah. And then I loved like skateboarding. And then I ended up in music from there. So those were the three things I ever like even dreamt about. And drumming was the one that was actually feasible.
Nice. And how about you, Dryden?
Lifeguard. I thought I heard somewhere when I was young that they made like $12 or $15 an hour, and I thought that was pretty adequate and hang around the beach all day.
Hey, that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, he could have been the original
12
from Baywatch.
$12 an hour when you're 11 years old sounded like everything in the world.
Like you made it. I have arrived.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, like, when was it that like music caught your guys' ear, and who was like some of the first music that you heard, and you're like, okay, this might be something I want to pursue?
Oh man.
I'll go first. I guess I played actually sports again. I played junior tackle with this dude named Victor Sika, and like the team used to go over to one of his dads was the coaches, and the team used to go over there to eat or whatever and have meetings, and we'd go over there, and he had a guitar, and I started messing with that, and then I met a couple of friends that had guitars, and then it became like, the daily like crawl instead of like how a bar crawl, we do it like all of the friends with guitars that like just learn new riffs. We'd go around and show each other our new riffs and stuff. And then I saw Judas Priest live, and then I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Nice. How about you, Tim?
Oh, man, I don't know. Probably like high school. Just started skipping school and listening to grunge all the time, and that was that.
And you, Mike?
I was thinking, it's kind of weird. Like I think I was way more into music than I really thought I was. Like early on, I was really like latching onto things without knowing it. But I think that when I really like got into it and was like aware of it, I think was like from skateboarding and stuff, and then I got into music through that, and it just kind of like it went together, and from then on, because it's kind of like a culture. so from then on, and I just got like more and more curious. And some of the stuff that I was like a guilty pleasure, I think, coming up was kind of fun to rediscover, like such as like even going back to like Michael Jackson, not to like try and segue or tie that in necessarily, but little things like the Chipmunk Punk record. I remember it was just like little things where even like the Police, I remember thinking that was like kind of like my uncle's music, but then later on, like around 15, 16, I was getting right back into it, and it was like a whole new like rediscovery. So there was a lot of that happening, from being like, again, like skater and into all the punk stuff, and then into super metal and death metal, and then going back to like Jackson 5 and the Police and whatever, so it was a weird thing how it kind of, I was into it, like I said, a lot more earlier on than I really realized.
Gotcha. How about you, Dryden?
Um, the Beatles White Album, and that just kind of, it's weird that was like maybe my first impression, and then it's still like I don't think anything's really beat it yet. And I just got a 1981 pressing just like 2 days ago. I got the Beatles White Album again. I wish I had my vinyl of it, but I spent $100 and got a
Is that the
nice
one you
little.
ordered when we were on tour?
Yeah, it's
Oh, sick.
really cool to just hear. Kind of haven't heard it in so long, and you just mentally knowing what song's coming next from being a 9-year-old almost is really weird how your brain can remember exactly like what's happening. Pretty cool. So the Beatles White Album and probably Wham, Make It Big. Thinking, wow, that's like what a real singer sounds like. um the Wham and the Beatles, I guess.
Nice. And then when did like you guys all come together? When did Alien Ant Farm come together?
Well, we had all been playing
uh
music in the same scene, and so like I think in '95 is when we started to like flirt with the idea of all of us coming together. But yeah,
Our lives were all mingled in like one weird way or another as youths. Um, so we knew about each other, and everybody played in, like Mike said, everybody was kind of in their own situation around town as far as musically, and we just kind of all, I don't know, we gravitated. Yeah, I'm sure someone somewhere was like, let's start a band with this guy, and like we should grab that guy, and and how those things happen, and yeah, the next thing we knew, we all stopped kind of working with the bands that we were originally with and started doing this full time. So that was what, like 96, 95, 96.
yeah.
And what was that scene like, you guys? What was that, the Riverside or whatever scene? What was that
Yeah,
like for you guys before,
we were
when
we
you
were
first
like
started playing out?
we were playing shows with like all I mean, whether it was Alien Ant Farm, an early version of us, or the bands that we all played in before Alien Ant Farm, we were doing shows with like, um, Korn and Sublime and
No
uh,
doubt.
No Doubt, yeah, like 311, like all those bands that were just like maybe a couple of
Incubus.
handful of years ahead of us as far as being popular or whatever, and we were like opening for most of those bands while they were climbing. And so that's it's kind of cool, like, to think about it, because I guess the area had such a successful, like, kind of like imprint on music, um that like the bands with the scene was actually like all those cool bands. So it's kind of cool to say. I haven't thought about that in a while.
Cool. And then like who came up with the name Alien Ant Farm, and what inspired that?
uh, Boredom at work. I don't know. Just kind of like it's just like kind of like an idea, like of the Earth being an experiment, like by aliens. What if they seeded the planet and watch how seeded the planet with us, to watch how we develop as a species or whatever, kind of like a kid does with an ant farm.
That's
So
awesome. Like,
like an experiment. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I feel like we're letting the aliens down. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah. The experiment is going tits up.
And then, you guys, as you started playing out as Alien Ant Farm, then, um, what was like the early days like, getting your name out there and touring and stuff? Whoever wants to go, grab that one.
I'm sorry, you're asking. Ask the question again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like when you guys got together as Alien Ant Farm, you said you were playing the local scene and opening for a lot of those bands. But when did like you guys start like hitting the road and building your own name out there?
Well, we started to do like trade shows with bands like Papa Roach and some other bands out in Arizona and as far as like Oregon and we were kind of just like getting out there and doing these like weekend warrior shows. So that's when we started to really like kind of steal fans from these other bands by opening up for them in their local towns and then them coming and opening up for us in our local towns whenever we
And
were
then
doing like say like a headlining show. So that was like the way that we started to steal fans and you'd have like a mailing list that you'd have people come and sign at the merch table and then you'd mail out physical flyers and all that kind of stuff for every
networking,
show.
basically, yeah,
Yeah,
just like any business, just kind of networking it all, making
super
bigger
grassroots.
loops. Yeah, making bigger loops, like getting, you can play in your hometown all day long and just burn everybody out, including yourself. But we learned early, like, to just get out of town and start making like bigger loops. Like you go around and then you meet bands and you network with those bands and you go around a little bit wider, like hit some new
Yeah,
territories, etc. It was kind of crucial. I think it's funny because we get asked in like interviews or whatever, like what you would like, um, what you would advise a younger band or whatever, and that's always like the top one. I think. I think it was like one of the most important things was that we were getting out of town and creating these relationships with other bands and getting out there, spreading the word.
the thing was, it felt like a lot further away too, because without like all the social media, you just felt
Yeah,
super like disconnected
dude,
and detached from your hometown. So when you went
totally.
as far as like Seattle and stuff, you just were like a
You're like,
world
what the
away.
hell? Yeah, like
Yeah, I
people
remember
know
like
about us here.
going to like a payphone and calling my grandma, like, we're here, we're safe, and it was just kind of like, wow, like I'm in Seattle, I can't believe it. So it
Yeah,
definitely was a different kind of like gauge and scene.
Yeah, it was like the hustle factor was very important there, and like you said, the networking. There was no social media to lean on, and I don't know, like some of the up and coming bands today. I don't know if they appreciate that hustle factor. I mean, you guys are probably printing your own flyers and all that good stuff back in the day. Going to
yeah,
Kinkos and
totally.
putting a bunch of them on telephone poles and whatever.
Yeah, that's
Like that
how it
old
was
school
done.
hustle.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
The tools are like abundant now to do it, but the problem now is saturation. You have to be able to beat everything around you. You know what I mean? You have to like fight for attention in a way, but it's still great. It's way easier to spread information, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's
En
it's funny
masse.
too. It's funny when you can kind of think about like the different levels. It's like at first you get like enough of a mailing list, and you have to like allocate some of your practice time to everybody sitting around and getting a stack and getting a list and writing out, handwriting these flyers, and mailing them out, licking the
Yeah.
stamps, and then you get a little bit fancier and you can kind of print them up because of a friend and whatever, and you have like stickers and then and so on and so on, So it was like crazy, like that amount of time that you'd actually spend doing that. I
Yeah.
guess you would spend where kids can like, spend time doing stuff on like social media and doing all these different kinds of ways. So it's like you get more out of your time spent, but I feel like, it was just as valuable and just as resourceful.
Yeah. I used to like literally like have a glue stick and cut like words out of magazines and shit to like build a flyer like a ransom note or some shit. And now it's just like you use
The
Fonto.
Zodiac
You
Killer or
use the
something.
Fonto app and just like build it, or whatever. Use Scroll or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, you guys are doing that, hustling, getting your name out there, and then, when was it that the time frame where the labels caught wind and you know,
Like
ANThology was born?
like 99, 2000, I guess. Like we were sharing stages with Papa Roach a lot and just became like good friends with them, and we went through the ringer, and like I don't know, what was it, like 99, right around when we went to Europe like independently our first time. We were like kind of still like going to LA every week and playing for this label and that label, and then I don't know when Papa Roach's first like singles started blowing up, like 99 I think or something like that, and then they kind of like brought us, on board of their imprint label that they had under the label that DreamWorks that they were signed to. So I'd say that was probably around 2000. Am I right, guys? Like 2000-ish?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
First
Yeah.
record came out 2001, I believe.
Yeah. I'm actually good friends with Bucky. I keep in touch with him,
Oh,
Dave Buckner,
yeah, yeah.
and it's from that time. I guess that's awesome.
Yeah, we
And
keep in touch with him too. Definitely.
yeah, he's been inviting me out to Buckingham Palace, so I'm looking forward to making a trip out there at some
You
point.
know, we
You
went
know?
out this year. We went out a few months ago. It was pretty awesome. Really cool spread.
Yeah, he's doing good out there. It's great to see. And then, speaking of ANThology, I guess next year you'll have what, the 25th anniversary of that album. I know you guys got a lot of tours to close out this year coming up, but anything planned for the 25th anniversary for next year, or too early to talk about?
Uh, it's too early, but like I guess what we can say is that we do have like plans in the works. Like, it's definitely like we're gonna definitely do something for sure. We're just like, I think we're at the point where we're just kind of getting to planning it all out, basically. It'll probably be a
Nice.
bunch of stuff that you would expect it would be, and then maybe some stuff that we throw in that you wouldn't.
Nice. And then, we touched on the Michael Jackson influence already, but what was I want to kind of hear the story of what led to covering Smooth Criminal.
Well, we were like,
Mm.
we kind of always messed around with covers and stuff, just for fun, whether it's like Weezer, Sade, and different bands. And as we were kind of one night, we were playing in between songs at one of our shows, and we started playing that riff from Smooth Criminal. So, and it was kind of cool. It was like a cool little groove and whatever. And so after that, we went back and just decided let's get the. I think Ty went and bought the cassette tape, and we went and took the song and just kind of made our own arrangement and started playing it. And it just kind of like was a fun thing to do. It was almost like taboo at the time because nobody was playing Michael Jackson or admitting that they listened to it anymore or ever did, at that time. So it was kind of fun, and yeah. So it's a fun groove.
We played like a couple of bars of that groove alone, just that, at some local show that we had, like a home show, and the room just like kind of like caught fire a little bit in a weird way to where it was extra noticeable, and I'd say from that moment it was history. It was kind of like that was it.
And Dryden, what was it like for you, like, singing that and making that your own?
Well, say again, you cut out.
What was it like for you singing that song and making it your own?
Huh. Well, he's rad. So I was maybe a little bit nervous, but just finding your own niche is important, and kind of trying to ignore that, like kind of that he's a big badass singer is important too, and maybe thankful and grateful that it was that song, because it's probably the easiest song uh to sing from him, I would say. Not, it wasn't picked for that reason, but yeah, it was fairly, I mean, the vocal kind of just follows the riff if you really think about it, and so it's pretty easy breezy. But yeah, just trying to make it your own, I guess. And um again, yeah, glad it wasn't Liberian Girl or some crazy song of his. He's that guy can sing anything, so.
Yeah, yeah. Did you guys expect it to blow up as big as it did, though?
I kind of had a feeling it was going to not as big as it did, but I knew it was like going to be a whatever our version of a hit was. We didn't really think of it kind of coming out and almost being the thing that that everyone knew us for. That was never really our intention or plan, but I felt like it had the chance early on, that to do something big. It just felt like a big song.
Yeah. And I think one of the questions on everybody's mind that I have to ask is Annie okay?
Yeah, I mean, I
Ask
don't
Elon
know
Musk.
if if she's under 13 and walking around the White House, maybe not.
Hopefully she's a lot older because that song's been around a while. But
Right.
Yeah.
and then Mike, you were talking about skateboarding and stuff. Anybody want to talk about the whole controversy with the Tony Hawk game?
It's I don't really know that it's a controversy. It's just kind of like, they're doing their thing, and we're happy to be like kind of part of the original happening. I think that the reason that song was so like, well, I don't know, we're finding out now like how many people just like appreciated that song being on that particular game. But I think that
Yeah,
there's something to be said there that, like that was a time and a place, and we hit with that song right out of the gate with our new record, and everything just lined up perfectly. So, I mean, how do you capture that again? I mean, it's fun for me to kind of marvel that it became a little like bonus hit for us. So
Yeah, it's a cool thing because like at the time, it wasn't really, it was kind of uncharted territory where people, it wasn't a radio hit, but it was like a video game hit, and that was starting to happen at that time. And so it was like really, really cool to kind of experience it, and it's had longevity from that game, and kind of everybody
yeah,
associates it with the game. So it is one of our hits, but
yeah. All
it
these
is
years
not a
later,
radio hit.
yeah, all these years later, you play it and it gets like in the beginning, like when you start it live, it gets as much like recognition as like movies or even Smooth Criminal for that matter. Like people just know about it, and it was fun to have that. I think it was cool to have that. We're not going to be like mad that they do whatever they did. We're happy to have the opportunity, and all the people that kind of got raised on that in a way. It's very cool.
Yeah. Dryden, who's your friend?
Tony Hawk.
Who is? I can't see. Who is it?
Nice. Nice. Special cameo appearance.
Oh, hello,
And then your last album,
Tony Hawk.
Mantras, came out last year. Like, what have you? I mean, since the breakout in 2001, what's changed for you guys about like the creative process?
Mm.
Yeah, Not, I mean, modernism. I guess the modern way to record is, I guess, easier. But we rolled around right when Pro Tools was getting started and whatnot. So I don't know that much has changed creatively.
Yeah, we kind
Uh,
of
so
make
maybe
our own ideas
that
and
might be that might be a dull answer, but we really did. The finite things of recording have gotten better, but like digitally. But when we started kicking it around, I feel like things are fairly the same, kind of.
Well, you know what's cool is that when we first started the band, we actually were recording our first demo before we ever played a show. So we kind of were like on on the path of like recording and trying to like kind of be like savvy in that way. I mean, we were only doing on like ADAT and stuff like that, and with the help of a lot of
yeah,
friends and like sneaking into studios and this and that, but we were kind of in that mindset. So it's just the whole again, like Dry was saying, like the way that you can record now. Like for instance, we did this record, in our homes, mostly at my house here and in our other homes. You know what I mean? So for that to be like, and it sounds, in my opinion, as good as any of our other records, and to say that we did that, in our homes, 20 again, it's 20 years later, but it doesn't seem like 20 years later, before we had started recording like on ADATs, there was no way to get like that quality, or at least we didn't have the knowledge or any kind of like way to do it. So to think about it like now, it's changed a lot in that respect to be able to get like quality recording and not have to be like we used to have to go to, rent an apartment that was around the corner from the studio and do all that stuff to spend that money to be in the area and vicinity to have all that stuff accessible. So
yeah,
to be able to kind of do it at our homes and all that has really, really, been a good luxury in that way.
yeah. Well, like Mike said, we were like exposed. I think we had great exposure to like recording and the different formats and the different styles of like and some pretty great recorders also. We've had access to some people that we got to record with and learn a lot from. So nowadays it's like it's not too dissimilar as far as how we do it. It's just now either you present something in the jam room or you email it, you know.
And I gotta say too, just like a little shout out. I got we had like one of a really really great engineer by the name of James Murray who did our first record, Anthology, and then a guy before him, a guy named Miguel Martinez, who was a young up and coming kid who was just super super fan and just gave a lot of heart and soul to us and taught us a lot about this stuff and got us kind of again like geared up to be whatever kind of savvy that we had, you know what I mean, up to that point, and then
Yeah,
kind of got us on our feet to like learn Pro Tools and any kind of like digital recording and kind of
yeah,
to have the confidence, because I don't think any of us would have done this with the confidence to go and go, oh, we could do this, you know what I mean? But when we have people who actually know how to do it and are like pro, like big pros, have worked with all the pros of pros and all that kind of stuff, and they're telling hey man, it's just simple and just do this and do that, and
yeah,
when you get in these like little conundrums of just like, oh shit, my computer just died or blah blah blah, all these kind of like possible problems that you still have to this day. But to have that kind of support in the beginning, I think was a big catalyst to getting us like on our feet and to where we are now. So, well, out of like, all my love and respect for those people, they really, really like got us on our feet and on our way, like
yeah.
I said. So that
A
was a
lot.
big deal for us.
To add to that, a lot of those people were like trying to make it just like we were, like right next to us. You know what I mean? They just were like being recorders or trying to be like engineers or producers or whatever. But they were like right next to us, like kind of like putting their blood and sweat into like building themselves and everybody all together, reciprocal, right? So.
Nice. And from what I understand, you guys are currently working on new material as well.
Well, I mean, we're working a lot out in the field. We're touring and doing festivals a lot, and just got back from Europe. And I mean, in like a week or whatever, we're gonna head back out again. So, we get to stuff in the cracks where we can. Um, it feels like that's like always going to be a perpetual thing because anybody has a demo at any given moment. So
And there's some stuff cooking right now.
always
We just
writing.
we gotta wrap some things up, but yeah. we're excited.
We have some release plans that will be cool. We can't really like get into it, but like at least like have some music coming and stuff. So it'll be
Yeah.
cool.
Cool, man. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I saw the tour dates that you guys are getting ready to jump out on, and at first, a tear rolled down my cheek because I didn't see Cleveland on there. But then I just seen the announcement today with Finger 11. You guys are going to be going out with them at the end of the year, and there is a date near me. So looking forward to that. Have you guys toured with Finger 11 before?
No, I think we probably played a couple of radio festivals together. I think, met in the hotel, but I don't know that we've never toured together. This will be definitely first time.
Nice. Yeah, looking forward to that one for sure. And then after you guys got these tours coming up. Like you said, you got some material in the works that you can't announce yet. And of course, there's going to be next year, the big 25th anniversary. You guys are going to be pretty busy for the next couple years, it seems. For anybody that wants to keep up, any fans out there that might even be new to the Alien Ant Farm, where would you send them to keep up on everything?
Any of the socials, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, we have www.alienantfarm.com. You can go to alienantfarmstore.com, which is like our whole world of merch. We're just basically, a couple of clicks away, no matter where like all the usual places, Spotify, Apple Music, etc.
Nice. Well, before we get ready to wrap up, I want to ask you guys some of the questions I normally ask my guests that I have on, and we could go back, across to everybody individually. You talked about some of the bands that influenced you early on when you got involved with music, but are there, who are your top 3 artists that you're listening to today? And could start with Mike.
I've been listening to this kind of thing I found on the internet, this Marion and Sobo band. It's kind of like French and German and Spanish and English kind of fun band, kind of folky. I've been listening to that Deftones single I dig a lot, and I've been listening to ZZ Top a lot. Tres Hombres record, I've been listening to that a lot.
Nice. And how about you, Dryden?
Probably Sod Guru and Artie Lang and Artie Lang and Sod Guru probably is all I really listen to. I haven't listened to much music. I haven't listened to much music other than that White Album I just got a couple of days ago. I've been listening to Mama Said, Lenny Kravitz, like a lot in the last week, but otherwise mostly talk radio type stuff.
Gotcha. What about you, Terry?
I feel like since I've been home from tour, I've been trying to catch up on Howard Stern. Whether it's Sternthology or Artie Lang or whatever's going on nowadays, but music wise, shit. I've been going. It's kind of been a while, but I've been going back to that. I fell in love with that Queens of the Stone Age record, like Clockwork. Been listening to that a lot. I'm always listening to some new deathcore release or whatever. I was digging on the new Worm Rot a lot. That record Hiss they put out last year was really great. I don't know. I could just kind of riff all day.
Nice. And then what about you, Tim? You still with us?
No.
All right.
Tim? Tim likes sleep. Tim likes Turnstile. I can say that for him. He listens to a lot of Turnstile.
Gotcha.
There he is.
Hey, there he is. What's up, Tim?
Yeah,
I said
came back.
Turnstile, right?
That's
Do I
right.
know
And
you or what?
Rick Moranis' country album from 1993. I've been listening to that.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that one.
Nice. I wanted to
Chipmunk Punk.
bring you back into the conversation, man. Sorry, we didn't mean to put you on timeout. And then I like asking this question. I get there's one answer that I get quite a bit, and I'm going to see who has it today. But what class do you feel should be mandatory before graduating high school today? And we can start with you, Terry.
Fucking hell. Sorry, you caught me. I can't. Gosh, I don't know. I like to. I think that there should be more music and art classes, like just kind of like those kind of cool, kind of home ec-ish kind of stuff that I know doesn't exist as much as it did when I was younger, and I think that stuff is important for building social structure and skills and being, a cool person and learning how to cooperate and etc. So yeah, the arts, of course.
And then what about you, Tim?
How to do a tax return.
There it is. That's the number one I get, man. Taxes and finances. It seems like there's a reason behind that. Apparently,
mine was like the polar opposite. Yeah.
And then, Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I was like thinking about the same thing about like finances and stuff, and like, but I'd say like the modern day finances, just anything AI and how to ask good questions for AI. And then I would say any kind of like trade, like stuff that they should bring back, the stuff that you can kind of actually physically get your hands on and do that's actually needed in society today, or in the community.
And what about you, Dryden?
Yeah, all of the above. Maybe like woodworking and home improvement, kind of one and the same, but learning knowing how to remedy everyday problems. A lot of people don't know how to remedy those little things.
Yeah,
including me half the time, but I'm semi good.
I know.
Hey, can I change my answer to golf? I should have stuck like with golf. Like honestly, that's like the funnest, raddest, easiest money. Like, come on.
Yeah. And then I haven't asked this question in a while, but you guys have many years of experience doing this, and you're going to be finishing the year out on the road. But is there a particular band that you can look back and you feel like you've had the most fun with on the road?
Shoot, maybe POD.
Yeah, POD, probably 311. We had a lot of fun with them.
Yeah, I'd say 311, and then like a smaller band called Kaleido that we really like a lot, and they're good people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So I'd say 311 and Kaleido.
Agreed.
Nice. And then I'll start with you, Dryden. 3 people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. That's just a tough ask. I don't know. My dad. I mean, those are the
that's
people,
a wild question.
My dad, my mom, and my wife. They're the reason I'm awesome, and they're the reason I'm a total fuck up too.
My answer is Dryden's dad, his mom, and his wife too. Just for the record.
No, I mean, I like asking that question because once in a while you hear something about like some teacher or somebody that deserves a shout out.
You
look back at people.
Yeah, My best friend is an 87-year-old Liverpudlian, and I met on the golf course. And I'd have to change my answer to probably like him and him. You know, besides my family, that you know, that's kind of nice to know someone that changed your life like that. And I couldn't really say like an artist or anything, even though I've been moved by music. I don't know if they've really like changed my life as much as, you know, someone that you kind of really truly know.
Yeah, those are the answers I look for the most. Like you said, somebody that you truly has impacted you that you've met. It doesn't have to be any celebrity or musician or anything, but you know, the unsung heroes out there that deserve a shout out. You know,
Dryden, Mike, and Tim. That's my new answer.
awesome.
No,
Dave
but
Buckner.
seriously, Dryden,
Actually,
Mike,
Dave
and Tim.
Buckner. I used to call Dave Buckner when in the wee hours of the morning when I was all fucked up on cocaine and alcohol, because I knew he was sober, and I'm like almost 4 years sober now. So Dave Buckner, and he would always take my call and never judge me or anything, and so that's a pretty big deal to I'd say
Hey,
even Dave Buckner, you know.
Big Dave coming up again, Debo.
Yeah, dude, that's beautiful, man. I mean, that's pretty much how me and Dave kind of connected. You know, I've got 16 years, and
Oh, there you go.
it's awesome community, man. I'm excited to be a part of it. You know,
Cool.
so
That's
welcome,
good to hear,
man.
though. Cheers. Thank you, man.
I'll have to have a Sprite with you in Cleveland when you guys come through.
Something Topo Chico right here, bro.
Nice. And then any message that you guys have for our military members that are currently serving overseas?
Oh my
We were just out
gosh.
there with a bunch, like in Italy and in UK, and we've done a lot. You know, we've got to do a lot of stuff with them. So I would just say, stay safe, and all that energy that they have. Everybody, when we get to see them, they're always like having a good time and having fun. So
I'd like to say hua, hurrah, semper fi. And thank you to all of the military families deployed around the world. Thank you for your service.
Awesome. Yeah, I had the pleasure of I actually became friends with Art from Everclear because they played my bass on my last deployment, and I did
cool.
security for him. And this is before I got sober, but you know he's very open about his sobriety and stuff, and you know, and it's like now all these years later, it's like good to reconnect with him and say, hey man, you planted a seed in me over there, and now I got 16 years, man. So
cool. Congratulations.
That's cool.
And thank you for your service, man. We literally just got back from contracting for the military like a week ago. We went through a couple of RAF bases and then down into Italy and Sicily for playing for 4th of July and stuff for the troops, you know, families.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Well, thank you guys for that, because I know how much it means, you know, to have a little bit of home, visit us. Yeah. Well, guys, man, I really appreciate, the time and talking with you. I look forward to what's ahead, with you guys as well. And then before we get ready to wrap up, can I ask one last favor?
Yep.
Shoot.
Can I get a Alien Ant Farm promo ID for the show? Just introduce yourselves, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Today's Boondoggle?
Yes, sir.
That's it?
Yep.
Hey.
Yep.
All right. 2, 3, 4. Hey, what's up? We're Alien Ant Farm.
You're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it, man. I look forward to catching up with you when you come through town.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Please come say hi.
Cleveland or Cincinnati? You said Cleveland, right?
Cleveland. Yeah, I'm near Cleveland.
All right. Cleveland rocks.
All right! Listen up! Hold on to your seats. Grab your girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.